All right, over here at the left position on dual site, a player on the team TSL, very strong Terran. He is
TSL aLive.
Was formerly in the Foyu clan actually. Joined the TSL team. Over here at the top right, member of the team NS Hosa. His name spelled in different ways sometimes. He is
NS Hosa vanvanth.
QXC calls him the Count because he often four-gates. He counts 1, 2, 3, 4 to the.
I thought it was based on Von, like vanvanth. Von, whatever is like a.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. It was based on the four-gates, but that makes sense too, man.
And so we have the probe going out and scouting once again. Again, nothing out of the ordinary happening in these openings today.
Yep, taking his gas. Both of them, of course. Protoss doesn't take his gas. It's like, oh, this is Bronze League. It's like he forgot his gas. I don't know what's going on.
Only gets zealots and doesn't proxy his gateway.
I'll tell you guys a story. Last night, I was hanging out with one of our new players who's staying at the Gom House. Happy Zerg, a European player, and I was telling him it's hard to find a free-for-all in Korea. I queued up a free-for-all, and then I was watching him ladder, and then free-for-all started, and then three minutes into the game, I didn't realize that it started. I turned around and sat down in my chair and still won the free-for-all. Those guys are pretty bad, man.
Well, they got unlucky.
I don't know, man.
Are you saying that all free-for-all players are bad?
I'm not saying all free-for-all players are bad because I played last night, man. I know what you're trying to say.
I was trying to trap you.
I was just trying to relax and play some free-for-alls because I was kind of tired, but it was like the first time I played free-for-all since the beta. It was a lot of fun. Just because, I mean, not to be mean, but everyone is kind of bad, so you can just do whatever you want. It's really fun. You can be AFK for 3 minutes and still win.
Well, I think that's the key there on Blizzard's part is they're trying to have these different game modes that you can play very casually, you can play the ladder casually, you can play the ladder competitively at all different levels. There's a lot of cool custom games going on. I love Star Jeweled myself. So does John.
I actually haven't really played Star Jeweled.
Really? I'll challenge you that later.
Bonbon's taking his second gas after the SCV was chased away. At a little bit of a later timing than normal. And we do see aLive doing the same build we saw from last game. This time making a bunker because he didn't scout that second gas, so he wants to make sure he won't die to a 4-gate. Because when you see a 1 gas at this current stage of StarCraft... Whoa, look at that micro! Oh, man. That was sexy.
Zealot not taking any serious damage to himself, just using the shields. Distract the Marines a little bit. Keep aLive scared and staying in his base. vanvanth actually has a really nice supply lead, but the thing is that aLive is actually getting a second command center right now. So
it's not quite the same build. He's going Reactor Hellions. He's going Reactor Hellions, man.
That's really good to get when you're going for an expansion because you put a lot of your extra minerals into those Hellions, and then those Hellions can give you the map control to prevent any sort of 4-gate going up if you do it successfully. You can keep those Hellions going all over the map and scouting for those pylons. Without the forward pylon, it's very hard for 4-gates to actually warp in the units. It needs to put the pressure on you.
Well, this is a TVP. This isn't a TVZ. This is Reactor Hellions business. You just very rarely see this amount of Hellions early on in this matchup. Sometimes you see Blue Flame later, or you see like this Hellion mix to kill High Templar and Zealots later on. But very rarely do you see a Reactor Hellion opening like this. What he's going to try to do is just surprise Bonbons. He's going to come in there with like 8 Hellions, and Bonbons is going to be like, wait, what? What matchup is this?
We do actually have 4 moving across the map right now. He's going to try to get control of that watchtower. You can actually take down lone stalkers with Hellions because you can just send your hurt Hellions home to get repaired, while their movement speed does a lot of damage too.
Well, he's just going to go and attack right now at these sentries, and this is going to be very difficult for Bonbons to defend.
The first sentry does go down, but the second sentry is positioned to be able to prevent these Hellions from running into the base. If they can get out with their lives, they did exactly what they needed to. They can just go home and get repaired like I was talking about. They can also scatter around the map to look for any sort of proxy pylon and make sure that there's no pressure going on to Terran as he's expanding.
Well, that was kind of interesting. It's a pretty big investment to go for those Hellions. I mean, he did kill a sentry, forced a force field. But he's already switched now. He's just going to stick with those 4. He wasn't going to do the thing that I was talking about where he just goes with 8 and just surprises them and kills some probes and loses all the Hellions, but it doesn't matter. We do see Stim on the way for aLive. He's added a second barracks. He's making medevacs. Actually going up to 3 barracks now. So he's just going to be going back into normal bio play with medevacs. Taking his natural right now. But Bonbons is slightly ahead. He's had his command center up for longer. He's got his robo out.
Yeah, he does have a supply lead, but the thing is that the Terran player will be getting a lot more mules, so the supply in workers, which is where that lead is actually coming from, it's 36 to 29 right now, it goes away pretty quickly when you've got 2 to 3 mules dropping on the field at any given time.
When you're powering up and adding 3 barracks, it just takes
a hero
a while.
SCV here. He's going to go try to take it to the army on his own.
That was a teaser, man. Like, he's poked that, he's poking that pylon. He's like, you paying attention?
I'll fight you.
So now aLive's gone up to 5 barracks. He already had a very fast reactor starport out, so he is going to be able to put a lot of pressure on your. Like you were saying, he's behind about 10 supply, but he's about to get really aggressive.
We also have this medevac going in to do that drop. He's got 1 Hellion, 6 Marines. The Marines are there.
Actually,
to
that's
do
a Marauder.
damage. What?
It's a Marauder in there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's a trick, man. He tricked you.
Oh. It's a
And
fire
the dropship actually is going to have to.
Okay, so even though this didn't do any damage immediately, what it did is it's distracting a majority of the... Oh! It's actually lagging out vanvanths right now, so it gives the advantage to aLive. It's a really good strategy to do.
Yeah. If you can force your opponent to drop from the game, sometimes you can win a lot of games like that.
Yeah, drops are really powerful.
Seen those... yeah, drops. I've seen those. I've seen those on the ladder, man. Lost some games to those.
Ooh, just a few, yeah. I've won some games to those. Maybe
I
I was
actually
playing
have
against you.
too. Yeah, it's drops. On the BNet, it happens sometimes. Sometimes you kick your router and you just lose the game. It's unfortunate. Sometimes the cleaning lady is vacuuming and she trips the power and you lose a ladder game to a Grandmasters player and you're like, I'm better than this guy and he's in Grandmasters.
So you should always help with the cleaning instead of playing ladder games.
I know.
Other people do work.
That lady, the cleaning lady we have at the Gom House, she's great.
Yeah,
she actually did my laundry last night. I was like, I couldn't
Really?
find my clothes. I freaked out. I was like, where are my clothes? I had them right next to the washing machine. And I'm like looking everywhere. And I go to where the clothes are normally hung up. And all my clothes are washed and hanging. I'm like, what? This is the best thing of my... It's like the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. It's like
Korea.
my birthday.
Yeah, everyone's super nice with all their stuff and do a great job. So in this game right now, it's really interesting to see both players have expanded. We have a lot of Hellions coming on here for aLive, but they haven't done any serious damage yet. They're just moving around the map, trying to keep control of the watchtowers and make sure that vanvanth keeps enough units in his base that he can't move out with a full force. If he does move out, then the Hellions just run by and do crazy amount of damage to probes. So we're actually...
The countdown went down to 0, and I thought he was going to drop, but as it stands, he was able to.
Actually, it looks like they're leaving the game.
I'm not sure. We're actually in the game. Hellions are killing probes. I'll cast like it's a radio. Hellions are killing probes here, and Bonbons is lagging again as his probes die, and aLive says 4-5-4-1-2-1-2-1-2-1 in chat.
Good day. Bunch of Koreans going on our screen.
Yeah, they're talking about Bonbons is, I don't know exactly. I think it's saying, like, he's going to drop. I don't know, but you guys will find out soon. It's like, you know how normally when it goes down to 0, the person just leaves? Well, in this case, Bonbons didn't. And then he, like, was suddenly resurrected from the dead and then came back. But
we did have both Korean observers leave the game, so it looks like we are going to actually go to
so we're going to have to regame.
Rematch. Yeah,
yep.
It's going to be interesting to see if they try to go for similar openings. Now both player knows what their opponent was planning, and then can try to counter that. But you also have a lot of mind games going on to see, like, all right, well, you know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do it anyway, and let's see if you can actually defend against it.
It's going to be very mentally frustrating for these guys, but it's how it goes sometimes. We're going to take a 2-minute break, guys. When we get back, we'll have the regame.
Welcome to the bar.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Mokdong Gom TV studio. I am Wolf, and with me is Torch. And with us, we have aLive and Bonbons jumping into the regame on dual site. So sometimes, I don't want to give the vehicle of esports speech, but sometimes these things happen. And so don't blame Blizzard, don't blame Gom. It's just,
it's like a rain out
It's
day.
the esports devil who's actually just like, coming in and influencing these things.
You got to put the game on pause to let the rainstorm move on for a little bit, and then we can get back on the field.
Speaking of rainstorm, man, Torch and I actually came to work today in a canoe. We actually...
yeah, there's floods going on here in Korea, but we are still playing StarCraft 2, and we're going to see who wins in this next game between aLive versus vanvanth on dual site for the up and down matches of GSL 2 Live.
Nice intro, man. That was good. Thanks. All right, here we go again. Over here on the left side of the map, a member of the team TSL. He is. I don't know if we have intros again. You guys know who he is. He is TSL.
TSL
Okay.
aLive.
So TSL Live.
Looking very angry with black hair.
Over here on the right side of the map, the same position he was last game. He is.
NS 호석 vanvanth.
Looking very cheerful with brown hair.
What do you look like with red hair, Torch?
Ooh, you don't want to know.
My hair's like blonde, but it's also kind of brown. It's like hard to say if it's really blonde.
Yeah, my hair's my hair. I don't really care what color people say.
My hair is my hair.
Yep.
You gonna write a song about it?
Should I?
I think you should.
Lots of crying and other stuff.
I've got like this emo haircut looking thing going on today because like I said, we came in through the canoe. Took us. It was like, we came with our hair soaked and stuff, and it was just it was not a usual day for us when we came to the studio today. You guys know about the flooding in Korea. I know you do. There's like a thread about it on Team Liquid. You guys read Team Liquid all day. I don't blame you.
Yeah, there's a lot of flooding going on. It's delaying traffic, but I think everything's going okay. The country's handling it pretty well.
Yeah.
The summer season's just, it's common to get this much rain going on. There's also, I think, second hurricane going through. There's monsoons going on. I don't know. Personally, I like it as long as no one's getting hurt.
Well, as long as we have the Gom canoe that we can take to
Yep.
work, everything's fine.
It's got a little Hellion jet on the front to melt the water when we need to get out.
Yeah, exactly. Keeps us warm too sometimes.
So we do actually have a different build coming out here for aLive. He's going for 2 early barracks, one with a reactor on it.
Yeah, he's just gonna 2 racks. And basically the surprise of his last build, and, it's now no longer gonna be as much of a surprise if it happens, so just gonna do away with what he has done, do something new.
Yeah, both players were relatively aggressive in their economy openings last game, but they're playing a lot safer this game. Both players staying on a single base at the moment. We'll see where that goes in a few seconds.
vanvanth's actually using all of his Chrono Boost on his gateway, so he's going to be being aggressive like he was last game, just a little bit more so this game. Sending out his first Zealot and Stalker to be aggressive. There's not going to be a bunker at the top of the ramp, and aLive is making a tech up. He made that reactor, so he may take some damage from these first 2 units, but he will, of course, once the first Marauder gets out, be able to push it away.
Yeah, and the Zealot's coming across the field like it did last game, but there's more Marines out on the field than there were last game as well, so aLive might be able to respond even quicker than he did. He wasn't able to kill the Zealot last time, but he took down the shields without doing any damage to himself.
Yeah, he's going to have 5 Marines out here and a Marauder when this attack hits, so it's not going to be able to do a whole lot.
And the SCV is actually going to be able to get in and scout exactly what's going on here. 5 Marines against a Zealot and a Stalker. 1 Marine goes down, the second is very hurt, but the Zealot dies at the same time. The Probe and the Stalker decide, hey, it's not a fight that we want to fight right now, and are heading home. The SCV, again, though, is in the base of vanvanth and does see exactly what's going on. It is 2 gates at the moment. vanvanth is saving up enough money to most likely expand, but he does have options to do other things at the same time.
I think he is going to make a Nexus pretty soon. That's a good read, Torch. The command center is going down here for aLive, so he's just expanding behind his 2 racks. 2 barracks in this matchup just allows you to do almost anything. You can do timing attacks, you can expand, you can tech up off of 1 base if you would like, that's your thing.
So we're seeing both players going for a slightly aggressive opening and then into an expansion, just like we did last game. vanvanth's overall strategy is roughly the same. The build order is slightly modified, while aLive went for 2 racks opening instead of the barracks reactor factory like we saw last game. Just a little bit of adjustment in aLive's play, while vanvanth is staying very similar.
Kind of curious to see what vanvanth is going to do with his overall composition.
Oh, I like this use of this 1 hurt Marine. It's only got 1 health. It's not really useful in a fight at all, but he can keep it going around on the map and scouting, even though it's not able to fight
It's like
anything.
a changeling. 1 hit kills it if it's spotted.
Yeah. Needs to get a Zealot costume.
So, aLive has actually checked the entire map now with that Marine and with an SCV to check to see if vanvanth is doing anything fishy.
Oh, we actually had that the probe at the Xel'Naga Tower, the Xel'Naga Gateway, whatever it is. He actually killed that 1 health Marine.
Well, that's how it goes sometimes, man.
It's a hero probe.
It's a changeling, it's not a Marine. You just tap it with any unit and it just dies and falls over. aLive adding more barracks here, similarly to how he did last game.
Adding on 3 more barracks, so he's going to have 5 barracks. He's going to get a lot of bio units here. Marauders, Marines, and just the upgrades for those bio units.
The difference between this game and last game is obviously he's going to go the Reactor Hellions. He's not going to have his Medivacs out as quickly, but he is going to have more bio out earlier.
Yep.
And his expansion is going to be up a little bit faster as well. And this Marine is not going to be killed by that probe. Same probe, though.
Yeah, with 1 kill there. He is still a Disciple, but he's on his way to being a... what's the next rank?
I don't know, man.
Uh-oh.
An Apostle.
Is that what it
So, these units over here are going to actually collide. These Stalkers... Oh! If you guys don't know, those 2 characters there are actually the P character, you know, if they were in English mode, not Hangul mode. And so he wanted to pause, and those Marauders were like, I want to kill you.
Yeah, so if this fight actually happens, it's 3 Stalkers and a Hero Probe versus 3 Marauders and 6 Marines. So I think those 3 Marauders and 6 Marines will win this fight.
Yeah, none
very,
of
very
those
easily.
Terran units will die.
Yeah, but
and all of the Protoss units will die.
He doesn't have Concussive Shell yet at the moment, though, right?
Nope. Well,
Okay.
actually, I can't
check.
actually check, but I think he actually does have it. I think
Okay,
he got
if there's Concussive Shell, then all those Protoss units are dead. It's
Absolutely. And the thing is also, I'm looking at it right now, they're on the Xel'Naga Watchtower, so aLive has vision of all 3 Stalkers, but the Stalkers don't have any vision, so they're actually being shot at before they can even do anything or react. So they're all just like dying as the game was paused. So unfortunately,
it wasn't really vanvanth saying PP, it was the Stalkers like, no, we don't want to fight this right now.
he like sees the first shell coming at him, he's like, whoa, pause break.
I need to call my girlfriend before this happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, we don't know exactly what the issue is, but obviously we had an issue with the computer before, so there may be some other stuff. And he's actually, we just were told that he's just having some lag problems. So
very unfortunate to have happen. StarCraft is a very demanding game, but the hardware that's out there from Intel and some other some other hardware developers is very good to run this game at really nice graphical settings. It's good to see that you can take the gameplay of something that's been around for 10 years and tweak it slightly, but then improve the aesthetics of it exponentially. Just helps to evolve the sport as we're going on with esports. We see it in a lot of other games as well, like Street Fighter. Had a recent rendition that's really awesome. A lot of other games like Mortal Kombat. And
even Marvel vs. Capcom, you know, that game looked pretty cool before, but it's like now it's really just evolving and improving. Smash Brothers, you guys remember the N64 when like the home run bat is like a triangle?
Those graphics were going downhill, but it actually made it more enjoyable for some reason. More cartoony, yeah. But that's the great thing about esports is it's not just StarCraft. StarCraft is obviously the best, but it's
obviously the best.
We're dragging all the other games along with us, and that brings in a lot of other people that, hey, you might, especially when you go to an event like MLG, it's Halo, it's StarCraft, and it's Black Ops. But
have you heard about StarCraft being on the main stage?
Yeah, that's the thing. StarCraft was started as just like, oh, well, this game's popular, maybe we should stick it in the event, to now, oh, this game is esports. Let's have it be the main thing. Let's get the other games interested. Because when you go to these events, don't shun the players that have never heard of StarCraft. Take them all as people that you can bring into the sport. Show them why you love the game. They're very interested in it as well. Like you talk to the Halo pros, and they're like, "Oh my god, that's an awesome game."
Here's the thing, guys. If you run into a Halo guy and he's like, I heard about StarCraft, seems like kind of a hard game. Don't be like, all right, well, the thing is you can like 11-11 racks and like kill a Zerg. No, don't go like that.
You got to keep it simple.
Just keep it simple and be like, hey, actually, do you want to come over to the main stage with me? I'll show you. And then you watch, Day 9 or whoever's casting, and then things are there. And the Stalkers are dying right now. 2 of them died. 1 escaped. He's going to go home to his family. He's going to tell his family about the tragedy of the lag on the computer and the pausing and the Marauders. Well, they would have died regardless of the lag, let's be honest.
Hopefully the lag is fixed so that he can continue to micro throughout the game.
By the way, during all of this, we were talking about all this stuff, vanvanth has added up to 6 gates. So he is 6 gating. He's got a ton of sentries. In fact, he's got 11 sentries out with full energy. Some of them, like 2 of them, don't have full energy. And aLive is in a position where he doesn't have that many units, and he is down 17 supply. He may just die to this attack.
Yeah, aLive is setting up to be prepared for a fight 2 or 3 minutes from now, but right now he does not have the infrastructure to get out those units very, very quickly.
He does have 2 medevacs. They're going to pop right now, and that's going to be... That's pretty much all he's got. He's only got 1 bunker. There are a few Stalkers here. This is going to be all a micro-intensive battle.
He's got pretty much infinite force fields, though.
Very true. Guardian Shield's up. He's going to force field these SCVs back. doing a ton of damage here. The medevac's healing pretty quickly.
He actually allowed a lot of the SCVs to get in to repair the bunker for a little while, but he throws on the last force field and zones it out. The bunker's still alive. A lot of these Protoss units are dying for no reason. It's not going as well for for vanvanth as it really should be. All those sentries died, so all that energy was for naught. However, there is a proxy piling going on. There's 6 more Stalkers being warped in, and the force just got a lot stronger.
Yeah, he left a lot of units at home, as the Observer just noted there. That could have been useful in this fight. Guardian Shield goes up again, but I think this battle is actually definitely going to go in aLive's favor. The dropship's not having enough energy to heal, but does it matter? The Stalker's falling here.
We have another wave of Zealots coming in here, forcing the bio units of aLive back. The reinforcements that were left at home from vanvanth did come in. This bunker does look like it's going to be able to go down. When it goes down, there's going to be no protection for the bio units. It's going to be straight force on force. More units are streaming in from aLive. It's going to be able to force the units of vanvanth back, but it did do a decent amount of damage and allowed vanvanth to continue to get his economy up. We're currently looking at 45 probes for vanvanth compared to 38 SCVs for aLive. That number is a little bit different, but with mules that ends up being about equivalent.
So some of you newer players or people who just don't play at the highest level might look at this and go, oh, well, vanvanth did a lot of damage with that. Like, he might be ahead from now, but he's actually not. He's going to lose more Stalkers here. But the problem is there is Stim, there is combat shields, and there are medevacs, and vanvanth has no tech whatsoever. He's got nothing. This ball of units right here is all he's got. He's warping in a few more, but now aLive has this mobile elite force. It's like the SWAT team force of all of these Marines and Marauders and medevacs.
Yeah, aLive's actually splitting his forces. He's taking a little task force to go into the main mineral line of vanvanth, do a ton of damage because the main force of vanvanth isn't anywhere close to here. Interesting to see how vanvanth is going to react. He brings a lot of his army in, but the thing is with medevacs, you can just pick up and go away. However, it looks... Nope. Does get away safely. The Zealots got in the way of the back Stalkers, so they weren't able to get those extra damage.
This one Zealot wants to be annoying, but his dream was shattered. He was like chasing that one SCV. The SCV didn't even get hit. He was like, because of shots, slowed the Zealot down. So if you do a 6 gate and it doesn't work and your opponent has medevacs out, you lose. This is a similar situation to what we saw. It's like a different form of it. It's one of those times where if your opponent goes a certain build and you do this, then you just lose. And aLive was just barely able to hold that. A lot of the problem with vanvanth's attack was he over-microed. He kept trying to stutter step and he was taking extra damage, but it wasn't really helping him. There was a lot of time. Go back and watch the VOD. You guys will see, like, whoa, vanvanth actually kept moving his sentries and they were taking a lot of damage. He wasn't actually firing.
Yeah, he also put force fields on the back side of the bunker, but it still allowed a lot of SCVs to repair. However, the main force for aLive is going to move in here. If he can take out the army of vanvanth,
oh, those force fields right were terrible. They blocked the Zealots from attacking the main army.
But we do have a pincer attack here for vanvanth. However, the guys on the top of the ramp are going to be forced to run away. The guys on the bottom of the ramp are slaughtered, and that is GG. That's going to put aLive at 2-0 so far, really where he wants to be right now.
Yep.
Good for him.
You basically have to have 2 wins to advance no matter what.
Yep.
And so he just needs one more. vanvanth's looking a little upset, and there were a lot of things that happened. There was the regame, and then the things happened in the middle of the map. And he also, I just want to talk about everything that went wrong for vanvanth in that game. Firstly, he left about 6 units, 1 full round of units at home. Then when he went to attack, he had all of his units in the probe, just went a little bit too far forward, and there was one scouting marine, killed his probe, so he didn't have a forward pylon. So that's like one thing that goes wrong where you're like, oh, well, I could have had more units when I attacked it first. Plus, he had the units at home. Then he over-microed. Like, this attack should have worked. aLive should have died, but he over-microed a little bit. And when I say over-micro, I mean he kept move commanding his units in a way which he thought was helpful. He thought he was moving them closer. He was actually just taking a ton of extra damage. His force fields in the bunker were not very good. And aLive held up by the skin of his teeth. And then when that happens, no tech, no upgrades. aLive's got +1. He's got combat shields. He's got stim. He's got medevacs. He's got a mobile army. And you have a lower supply army than he does? Sorry. I guess you...
Yeah, that's GG right there. You screwed up that one major battle. And if you screwed up that badly, that's just it. It's interesting to see he brought a lot of his force with him, but not all of it.
Yeah.
But the forces that he left behind were the ones that do the damage.
Yeah, he left a lot of Stalkers at home.
Yeah, he had almost entirely a sentry force in that fight, which had energy, which would have been a great support. But it's a support unit.
Yeah,
it's not a fighting unit.
If you have the sentries, you can do a lot of damage to Marauders if there's no medevacs, because Marauders just don't do well against sentries because they're light units. But then if you don't have any Stalkers to actually kill the medevacs are just going to out-heal the sentry damage. And then you're like, Oh, this isn't quite working. And then if you have good force fields, but your force fields block your zealots, like we saw that last battle, that doesn't really, you have to use force fields in some fashion, but if you use them like that because you're trying to block against to make the stalkers on the high ground hit, but then your zealots can't do any damage on the low ground, it's just, sorry, Bonbons, it's just what happens when you 6-gate and it doesn't work.
So I'm sure he'll try to fix that for the next game. But this game here, we do actually have Keen versus Inca on Belshire Beach. It's going to be an interesting TVP once again. Inca lost his first game to aLive on the because they tried to expand a little too aggressively, and aLive saw that and just countered. We'll see if Keen does that on this map.
And Keen, of course, lost to Leenock after killing Leenock's hatchery, so both of these guys are 0-1. It's a very important match for them. You can advance to Code S if you have 3-1, but that's the best case scenario. Both of these guys pretty much have to win all of their next games in order to make it. So it's very tough for these guys. If either of these guys lose, they won't be able to. They just won't be able to qualify for Code S. There's one situation in which that could happen, but it's like
that's jump on a plane, go to MLG, win MLG against players like Dongregu, Boxer, Ganji, Choya, QXC.
QXC, man, he's gonna all kill MLG. He got Incredible Miracle. MLG is like no big deal.
Yeah, Incredible Miracle having both players in the finals of the GSL this season. It's going to be Losira versus Nesty.
Yep.
Our first mirror match as ZVZ. It's going to be an awesome game if you're a Zerg player to watch that. Learn how the best players in the world play ZVZ. Also, if you do go to our finals, there are going to be a lot of giveaways. We'll get into that a little bit later.
Yep, it's going to be
right now
Inca versus aLive. The map is Belshire Beach. I'm sorry for interrupting you, Torch.
And it's GSL July up and down match. Day 3.
Group C.
Ooh.